Hello, beautiful being. Do you remember who you really are? So, what is awakening anyway, right? Well, it's remembering who we really are. Thanks for tuning in. My name's Rebecca. Be sure to join the tribe, click and subscribe. And so grateful to have you here. So, awakening and remembering who we are. What I've heard about all this and what I've come to know about this is that when we are born into a body and we pop our spirit into these bodies at birth, we kind of have an amnesia that goes over us. We have this sense of forgetting who we really are. And the idea is that we remember who we are through our journey, through lifetimes, or however that works. But here we are, the present moment, right here, right now. And another thing I'm coming to know is that the present moment actually has the past and the future all in it at the same time. So awakening is kind of decreasing that amnesia. That's how I'm seeing it. And what do you know about that? Let me know in the comments. So waking up is a process of remembering our greatness, remembering who we really are. And what is that? So there's so much about soul, the soul journey. What I know about soul journeys through my Reiki training is that a soul and spirit is a different thing. Souls still have an egoic agenda, still have karma attached to it, still have kind of the energetics of the chakras and past lives all in it. It's a real form and structure and construct. All right, so when we're remembering who we really are, it's actually remembering past the soul. This is how I see it. So when we're remembering our soul, when we're kind of really tuned into our soul, and when we even hear about soul singing, right? Ooh, that person's soulful. They're singing from their heart. They're singing from the deepest aspect of their humanness or their embodiment. And your embodiment, almost like when you leave a body and that soul goes into a different body, it's the thing that's embodied that we get to work through and work out. And it works along with our awakening process. So my video before talks about going from a soul into beingness. It's a phase of awakening. So be sure to check that out. But this is going into when we are remembering ourselves past our soul self, past the ego, past our karma, past our programming. When we start to really do all that releasing and healing and remembering and letting go, and remembering that we are not our soul, we are something even broader and spacious, we're remembering who we really are. And so I want to dive into the yoga map of the 5 koshas even deeper. So in yesterday's video, the last video I posted, at the end, we got to the 5 koshas. So I really want to dive in a little deeper now. So how do you know you're remembering who you are? Well, this is so ninja. I love this map, the 5 koshas. There's 5 areas of our humanness, okay? It starts with, depending on where you're looking at it, it starts with the physical body. That's usually what we identify with. So it's the physical body, then the energetic body, the chakras, the nadis, the meridians. Then under that is the mental emotional body, our thought patterns, our programming, our emotions, and how we respond to that. And then under that is the wisdom intuition body. And then under that is our bliss kind of spiritual nature. Now, that is what we are. It's this process of remembering this 5th layer, the bliss body, the allness, the beingness. Okay, so how do we know we're on the journey of remembering that? Well, it's so cool. We have these layers, these tiers of information set up according to this map. So when you have a physical symptom, a tension or density in the body that's represented through a discomfort or a pain, that is us remembering. If if we're willing to have the awareness. That's us remembering, tuning into that pain. That's where physical yoga, hatha yoga is so powerful, because you can really tune into that tension and density. And you're like, oh, this is telling me something. What is this telling me? It's telling me that I have a perspective that this is me and it's not. Okay, so the physical body lets out this last like hurrah of like, hey, listen to me, listen. And really it's our spiritual nature saying, hey, listen. And if we heed its warning, the physical body will let us know, and then we get to start releasing that tension out of the body and having a broader experience and remembrance of ourselves. And that is the beauty of a hatha yoga practice. So underneath that is the chakra system, right? The meridians, the nadis. And so when you work with acupuncture or you work with chakra clearing, you know, people, practitioners will say, oh, you're you know, these are blocked or clogged, or you know. So when that's blocked or clogged, that's information. That's information that we left the perspective of who we really are, that bliss body. So when you notice that your meridians and chakras are clogging up and not, you know, fully flowing, that's an indicator. Oh, I'm forgetting. Okay, that's a tool that we have in these bodies to say, red alert, come back to a broader perspective of you are a bliss body. You are allness, you are beingness. Now, if we don't get that awareness, it goes into that physical symptom. But before it heads into the chakras or nadis or meridians, we have the emotional mental field. Okay, now this is such an amazing tool that we have, you know, thoughts, belief systems, and emotional reactivity. These let us know, again, you're forgetting who you really are. You're forgetting your base frequency. Listen up here. These emotions are an indicator. They're letting you know that if this is uncomfortable to you and that you're crying and that you are attaching to a belief that you're this emotion instead of something broader and bigger and more infinite. So listen to your emotions, not identifying with them, but by saying like, oh, there's something more to me. So when you're in fear, when you're in anger, listen to that, you know, feel it and be like, I'm something else besides this. What is this telling me? So, and same thing with your thoughts. Do your thoughts limit you or do they expand you? You know, limiting thoughts, you can really start to see, oh, I'm an infinite being. That's my truest nature. And this thought is very limiting. And if we start to have consciousness with these things, we can start to really see how they're guiding us back to our bliss and infinite beingness. And then finally, there's the intuition. The intuition is just that step right above our bliss body. So if we get really good at listening to our intuition and our wisdom body, we may not have to get the indicators of emotions, right? We may not have to get the clogged energetic systems. We might have to not even get tension and pain in the body. That'd be pretty cool. So if we really listen to our intuition, that's that first step above our infinite beingness, it'll let us know, like, hey, you've left the building of your infinite beingness. You've left the building of your truest nature. Do you want to remember that? Hey, remember who you are. Psst, psst. And it's a very gentle whisper because there's no ego in the intuition. It's just knowingness. It's, hey, it's a reflection. It's a contrast of, hey, you just left infinite beingness perspective. Do you want to, here's how you get back there. The intuition will let you know how to get back there. And so what if we could live in the bliss body? What if we could live there and just follow the knowing from that expanded infinite knowingness. I don't know, I've been playing with this idea lately. It's not that emotions or intuition or, pain or chakras or anything are bad. It's just like I'm wondering what our human potential is with living with higher frequencies and ascension energy. Could we really have the perspective of our infinite beingness most of the time? And would it make the other indicators not so important, like are obsolete? We don't even get there because we're either in our bliss body with our knowing and awareness, or we're in our intuition that just quickly gets us back into the perspective. So thought, limiting belief systems and emotions and pain, physical pain and clogged energy systems don't have to happen. Now, people really have an attachment about their emotions. Like, that's not, that's our humanness. That's the joy of being human, is our emotions, our ability to have emotions. And I'm like, I disagree. I wholeheartedly disagree. Do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments. I really feel like the more personal growth and awakening and ascension that you do, the less emotional body stuff that we have to work through or be or experience. If you're living from pure awareness and knowing, you're going to know, one, you're going to have a broader perspective and less judgment about things, and just more allowance of things, which means that there's no contrast to react to and have emotions from or with. The other thing is that you get to feel in a way when you're when you're practicing beingness and knowing from in a physical body, you can still have this broader appreciation and just kind of ecstatic joy. Now that in a human body, it feels really freaking good. Why would you want to leave that? Why would you want to go into the lower realms of, like, intense hopelessness and fear? And so my journey has always been to remember who I am and to feel better and to feel better. And I went on this journey as a very young kid because I was pretty sick as a kid. And I would have headaches and bash my head against the wall. And like, I remember almost dying because I was septic and I had to have antibiotics infused into my blood for a week straight. I remember really wanting to feel better. And all of that medical stuff that happened really disrupted my body chemistry. So my serotonin levels and my probiotics were all like wobbly. So I had a lot of like depression and moodiness as a kid too. And my blood sugar was always all over the place. And then as a teen, I went into like a lot of eating disorders. So it just perpetuated the blood sugar stuff and the mental health stuff. So honestly, guys, I've been on a long journey of I really just want to feel better. I want to feel better. And studying in college wellness and the human potential movement of what is our human potential? What is our capacity for joy? What is our capacity to remember who we really are and live our greatness? So when I think of it's human to be emotional and ride the emotional roller coaster, I'm like, yeah, that's one experience of being human. For me, being human is about remembering my greatness, awakening to my broader perspective, and living more and more in gratitude and ecstatic joy. And ecstatic joy to me is not like, oh, we're having so much fun. That's fun too, but that's not what I'm talking about. Ecstatic joy is this kind of beautiful, consistent beingness of gratitude. That for me is an ecstatic joy. And being an allowance of life that you can stay there. Okay, now, what if the roller coaster of life is more up here? It's just like, oh, I'm ecstatic joy down to positivity, up to ecstatic joy again, Instead of like ecstatic joy down to complete despair, back up to positivity, down to anger, up to hopelessness, down to anger, up to negativity, down to grief, up to, like, we actually get to choose where we want to play. And that's part of remembering our greatness. Now, if you take this Kosha scale, the bliss body, intuition body, mental, emotional body, energy body, and physical body, when you take that scale and really use it consciously without judging yourself, just using all the indicators as clues as to where you are and who you are being at that moment. So if we are attaching to a physical symptom, or we're attaching to being a chakra, or if we're attaching to being an emotion or in a limiting belief, if we're attaching to that, then we don't get to use it as a tool to let us know where we are in the process of remembering who and what we really are, which is source energy, infinite beingness, allness. Now, a lot of times there are spiritual paths and religions that make us pray that something gets better. I pray I feel better. We're going outside here to ask for something better. And my take on that is that that really diminishes remembering who we really are, and it really diminishes your own personal power. So instead of praying out here for something and trying to grab something out here, know that that is actually this in here. So remember I said earlier in the video about Reiki and the perspective of a soul and a spirit. Your soul has to do with, your egoic lessons and the chakras and the karma and all that kind of stuff. But the spirit is your I don't want to say soul, your overall beingness. That's where we want to play from. That's where one of the energies that I was working with, Holy Fire Reiki, that's where we want to be playing and going to our source self. That's what we want to bring in here. Remember that that's who we are, that spirit nature, that infinite beingness. Okay? We think it's all out here. It's actually in here. So when we say the universe has my back, or, make this claim and the universe will deliver. It's even in metaphysical and new age philosophy, except it's instead of God, we're saying the universe. It's still the same perspective that something greater than me will fix me or fix my life. And I feel like that perspective is flawed. So whether you're using the word universe or God or higher spirit or whatever it is, you're creating a contrast. You're getting there, but you're not totally there and remembering your greatness. So let's take another step. So perhaps we're in the intuition level when we're thinking, oh, my intuition. So if we think that there's someone talking to us, like God is talking to us or the universe is talking to us, the universe has our back, we're kind of in the intuition level, right? Because we're thinking that that guidance is something other than ourselves, and we're putting it out here. But guys, it is ourselves reminding ourselves. It's like an alarm system, basically, that we've set up. So if you're living from this space of intuition, there's one more step to just come into infinite beingness, your total spirit nature, which is here, okay? What if your body is a focused point of your spirit? But it is your spirit, okay? What if it's almost like a hologram around the spirit? It's all the same thing. So come into your power. Remember who you really are. Your intuition is not the universe speaking to you. It's not God speaking to you. It is you. And when you have that perspective, then we're on this level of, awareness, beingness, infinite beingness. I as all. Okay? You are your own savior. You are the universe. When you say the universe has my back, you have your back. I have my back always. Now, that might bring up some trust issues because maybe you haven't had your back always. And if it works for you to stay in the emotional area or the intuition area, go for it. Play where you want to play. But if if you are in a space in your life where you're like, I want to go deeper, I want to remember deeper, know that there is no separate God or universe saving you. You are our God and the universe, and you are an infinite beingness. You have that right here. And you can practice remembering that every day and expanding it into every cell of your being every day. You got this. Let me know what your perspective is in. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Again, what I was talking about was called the 5 koshas. It's a yogic map. If you want to play with this yoga map and take a look at how your life is representing in this, and you'd like support and mentoring in working through some of these layers, I do mentorship. Let's get on a call, a 30-minute free call to see if we'd be a match to work together. You'll get value out of the call, and if you want to move forward with more support, we can talk about a mentoring program. All right, beautiful people. May you remember your greatness today. Namaste.